Many French players have come across the English Channel and had a huge impact on English football, but few have had such a strong presence as Eric Cantona. The French forward wowed English football in the 1990s with his philosophical outlook on life and the elegant way in which he played. He played in English football for 5 years, but tales of him remain to this day, with him making the iconic number 7 shirt of Manchester United his own. This is a story of Eric Cantona, the King. Eric Cantona was born in Marseille on the 24th of May 1966, the son of a Spanish mother and Italian father. He grew up with 2 brothers who he often played football with, and his father, an aspiring painter, taught him of artists and poets. Having shown promise at an early age with his feet, he was starting to gain interest. Whilst Marseille passed on the opportunity to sign him up due to his lack of pace, he joined the youth side of SD Les Cailloux. He then had the opportunity to move north to Burgundy to sign for the youth team of Auxerre. Under Guy Roux, the club would gain a reputation for developing great young talent such as Basile Boli and Felipe Maxes, and Cantona would end up making this list too. After spending 2 years in the youth team, he broke through to the senior side, making his senior debut in 1983. He had to carry out his national service in 1985, but the next year netted his first goal for the club, and would go on to score a goal from 25 yards that helped his side seal qualification for the UEFA Cup. He was soon capped for France for the first time, but had a foreshadowing incident when he was banned for 2 months for kung-fu kicking an opposition player. He helped the France under-21 side win the 1988 edition of the under-21 European Championships, scoring a hat-trick against England along the way. He was gaining attention from across the country, and Marseille, under the ownership of the wealthy Bernard Tapie, elected to sign the forward. His homecoming was not the romance people had hoped. He had already been banned from the national team for a year for calling France international coach Henri Michel a bag of shit on live TV, and would struggle to settle at Marseille. He once kicked a ball into a crowd in anger and threw his shirt on the floor after being subbed off, actions that saw him banned for a month. He ended up having separate loan spells with Bordeaux and Montpellier, and although he fell out with several teammates at the latter, he helped them win the Coupe de France. He would finally start to settle in when he returned to Marseille, forming a positive relationship with manager Franz Beckenbauer. However, after German sacking, he would often clash with replacement Raymond Goethals. Despite playing a part in Marseille winning the league in 1991, he was transferred to Nîmes that summer for 10 million francs. Controversy followed Cantona there too though, as he threw the ball at a referee after being angered by a decision he had made. He was summoned to a disciplinary hearing, during which he walked up to each member of the committee and called them an idiot one by one. He was banned for 2 months, and outraged, Cantona made a decision to retire. France's manager, Michel Platini, advised Cantona to change his mind, and Gérard Houllier advertised Cantona to British shores. Gérard Houllier suggested Cantona to Liverpool manager Graham Souness, who politely declined. Cantona would head to Yorkshire for a trial with Trevor Francis's Sheffield Wednesday, but they could not afford to sign him. It would, though, be a Yorkshire side who took up the opportunity. Howard Wilkinson's Leeds would take the chance to sign Cantona on the loan with a view to a permanent deal. They were top of the league at the time, with hopes that a reinforcement up front would drag them over the line. He formed a great partnership up front with Lee Chapman, and although Cantona would finish the season with 3 goals for Leeds, he provided many assists for his strike partner. Leeds finished the season unbeaten in their last 5 games, and Cantona was instrumental in their success as they won their first league title for 18 years. He truly announced himself in the next season's curtain raiser, netting a hat-trick against Liverpool as Leeds won the Community Shield. However, concerns were soon raised over his fitness, and his relationship with Howard Wilkinson began to sour. Cantona was furious about being dropped for a win over Arsenal, and submitted a transfer request as a result. Meanwhile in Manchester, the dispute was being watched with great interest. Leeds managing director Bill Fortherby was on the phone to Manchester United chairman Martin Edwards and Alex Ferguson to discuss the possibility of signing Dennis Irwin. During the call, Ferguson took a gamble and asked about the availability of Cantona. It got the ball rolling, and soon history was made. Eric Cantona signed for Manchester United on the 26th of November 1992 for a fee of 1.2 million. Leeds fans were outraged, but Manchester United felt they may have just got the striker that could get them their first league title in 26 years. The striker had been a position the club had struggled with due to £1 million signing Dion Dublin suffering a broken leg, and he missed out on the likes of Alan Shearer and David Hurst. He immediately changed things, with Paul Ince saying the aura Cantona brought into the room took pressure off players immediately. His hard work, creativity and goal scoring proved vital, and soon Manchester United's curse was over. In 1993, Manchester United ended the league title drought and won their first top flight since the days of Matt Busby. Eric Cantona had become the first player to win 2 successive English league titles with 2 different clubs, and with his title in Marseille, he had won 3 league titles in a row. Cantona had scored 9 goals on the way and dazzled with his entertainment. His elegant play was almost a form of art, and the 1993 league title was just the beginning. The 93-94 season would see Cantona in the form of his life, as the silverware kept coming. Cantona was awarded the iconic number 7 that George Best once wore, and Cantona proved he was worthy of the honour. An incredible performance against Arsenal early in the season saw him score a stunning free kick from range, and he will continue netting goals for fun. He scored 18 times in the league, as Manchester United retained the Premier League title. He added to his collection at Wembley, when he scored 2 penalties as the Red Devils defeated Chelsea 4-0 in the FA Cup final. Cantona was conquering English football, but the next season, it all slipped away. With the club looking to win their 3rd title in a row, Manchester United travelled to Crystal Palace on the 25th of January 1995. Cantona lashed out at Palace defender Richard Shaw, who had been man-marking him all game. Cantona received a red card as a result. When leaving the pitch, Crystal Palace fan Matthew Simmons ran down 11 rows to scream abuse at Cantona and allegedly shouted, "Fuck off back to France, you French bastard." Cantona, in response, flew at Simmons with a kun-fu kick, hitting him square in the chest. The fallout was huge, with a media storm being generated, and Cantona was close to being sacked by the club. Manchester United suspended him for the remainder of the season, and the FA banned him for 9 months. He was stripped of the France captaincy and was initially handed a prison sentence. This was changed to 120 hours community service. In a press conference following the hearing, Cantona went out of the way to confuse journalists who were hanging on his every word, stating, "When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think that sardines will be thrown into the sea," before standing up and walking out. Cantona was in a footballing wilderness. Manchester United lost the league to Blackburn and the FA Cup final to Everton in his absence, and Cantona grew frustrated at the terms of his ban, with the FA saying he couldn't even partake in friendlies behind closed doors. He was considering terminating his contract, but after a chat with Ferguson, changed his mind and would soon be back in style. With a group of youngsters breaking into the team, Cantona had to serve as a mentor for them. Cantona made his return in an away match to Liverpool and showed he had never lost it. He assisted Nicky Butt and scored himself as they came away with a 2-2 draw. Fatigue had seen them fall behind Newcastle in the title race, but Cantona's fine form saw them catch the Geordies up. A goal from Cantona against Arsenal saw them overtake Newcastle and go top of the table, and it was the start of a 6-game scoring run for him. They would soon have their title back with a 3-0 win against Middlesbrough on the final day, and there was a chance for another double. Manchester United faced Liverpool in the FA Cup final at Wembley. With captain Steve Bruce missing the game due to injury, Cantona took the armband in his stead. It was a dull encounter, but Cantona had the final word. In the 85th minute, a corner was swung into the box, which was punched away by David James. It came to the edge of the area where Cantona was waiting. He timed the volley perfectly, that flew towards goal with lethal accuracy, and found its way through the Liverpool defence and into the net. The Mancunian half of Wembley went wild. The goal would be decisive. Manchester United won the FA Cup again, and Cantona would be the first ever captain from outside the British Isles to lift the FA Cup. His redemption arc had been completed. The 96-97 season would be another great one for Cantona, which also provided perhaps his finest moments. In a game against Sunderland, Cantona picked up the ball near the halfway line and raced forward, evading the challenges of opposition players. He played a 1-2 with Brian McClare before chipping it first time towards goal. The ball flew towards the net, going in off the post, which was the finishing touch of a work of art. Cantona stood and stared at the crowd before slowly raising his arms in celebration. He had scored one of the best ever Premier League goals and acted like it was nothing. The season finished with yet another league title for Cantona his 4th in 5 seasons for the club. But out of nowhere, things came to an end. He retired from football at the end of the season, aged only 30. He had scored 82 goals for Manchester United, only failing to win the league in the season where he was suspended. He later said on his decision that he was tired of making the sacrifices necessary to be a footballer. He had lost a passion for the game, in part due to the commercialisation of his image, and was unable to get it back. Cantona did not regret his decision, and as well as being a Premier League icon, has also gone on to a wide variety of ventures, including beach football, acting, and also recently beginning a singing career. His footballing career may have finished a long time ago, but he has never stopped entertaining. Eric Cantona remains one of the Premier League greats. Those who had the privilege of playing with him and seeing him in action recall the elegant style and incredible natural ability, and whilst being an abrasive character at points, he was worth working with in the end. Amongst the greats of Manchester United and the Premier League, few have reached such levels of admiration as Cantona. The turned-up collars and suave confidence are a truly unique part of Premier League history. The "You are Cantona" chant is still sung at the Stretford End to this day, with Cantona himself saying, "I'm so proud the fans still sing my name, but I fear tomorrow they will stop. I fear it because I love it, and everything you love, you fear to lose."